Hi guys, quick video, 5 minute video. I'm doing this one, I've written this little presentation really in response to a question the other day about what was software development lifecycle, SDLC. And I just thought about the development lifecycle and I was thinking about actually the lifecycle of changes tends to go through a really standardized way of doing things. And I wanted to go through that and talk about how it's changed since Agile was introduced and the events that happen and how they can be standardized. Because all the changes that we do are always different, but actually the process we go through every time is almost not identical, but we follow a very similar process. And this is what it is. So everything we do, everything, and I think about things in biology and stuff, there's an input, there's an action, and there's an output. And if you did business at school, 101, what is a business? A business takes something, does something to it, and creates value and outputs it. Doesn't matter what, if it's making cardboard boxes, we take in cardboard, we turn them into boxes, and we output them with the extra value. So this is what we do. It's a very linear thing. And when you run projects, it's very linear. We get all the requirements, we do something, and we output the project. That's not agility. That's not how Agile works. How Agile works is it's the idea that we have a feedback loop. And that's what happens in nature and everywhere else. And if you're working and want to be rapidly evolve and listen to the customer and respond and work Agile, we've got a feedback loop to go. So we make this small and make it work really, really quickly. We don't want to work in that linear way. So, and then half the frequency of that feedback loop is what we call cadence. So if you've not already watched my video on cadence, go and watch the video on cadence. Well, that's really what we're talking about there. So let's have a look. Let's get right into this to do something. We can't necessarily influence anything else. They're all going to be standardized around us, but we can introduce this do something part. And I'm going to refer to this, what happens here is inside a work center. It might be your entire business. It might be just a team, but this is where stuff happens inside the work center. Let's have a look at what actually happens inside that work center. It gets its input. So it gets an input over there. And before we do anything, we analyze and we define what the definition of done is, and we refine that and make sure that it can be built. So we do that, always do that. Whether that's quick or longer, but we want to break it down into doable stuff. That's what the refinement part is. We then build it, and then we verify before we allow it out the door. And there, that workflow, that software development lifecycle, the development lifecycle is identical. The little variations, but it's identical. It always goes through that. So back to the cadence, put this slide in here. What we do differently in Agile, we try and make this small. We try and right size it to fit in cadence. So if those are standardized, then we can work as a team and understand that those things are standardized, and we can start to put events in. So we're still talking about a flow of work that goes from left to right. We'll do the analyze, define, and refine in a refinement session. And that's the event that happens. We do that as a team. We'll do the planning in a planning session before we go into build, and we'll do that as a team. During the build, we'll have check-ins, and we'll do those stand-ups. And then at the end, we'll have a review to verify that feedback. Now, those are standard events that happen on every life cycle. So what we can do is we can just put those in. And that life cycle, all of those events are on cadence. And so we have a cadence of 2 weeks, for example, and we will run those things on schedule, and we will right-size our work, and it will flow nicely through. And that's what the life cycle is. I hope you enjoyed that video. It's really, really, really quick. If you want to know anything more about some of the stuff I've been talking, I've got a whole playbook on my website. Take care.